So, hello, my name is Keisha. Welcome to Unspoken History. Thank you for joining me today, just in case it's your first time. So, give me a second. Every time I oil my face, my eyelashes get oiled, and so do my glasses. So I'm constantly moving my head around, trying to find a spot where it's not greasy or oily. So today I am going to talk about, while Americans are out in the street protesting, Donald Trump starts a war. You just don't know what's going to happen these days. Just can't tell. Folks out there in the street by the millions. He's sending military on the streets of America. Military over in Ukraine. Military in, is it Taiwan? How many military we got? That just made it worse. We got enough military to go all around the world and take care of what's going on in America at the same time. I'm just saying. So while Americans are out in the street protesting, Donald Trump has started a war. Now, I'm sure this thing didn't just start the other day when he bombed their ability or took away their ability to make a nuclear bomb, because Iran I don't know what that means. Okay, it could mean something totally different than what's coming out of their mouth. So I want to start with a video it's not going to be a video. I'm reading some articles from a video that I saw. This video was 6 months old. And, man, I wish I had kept the name of the video. But what it said was, hit list. A nuke hit list map of the United States, areas of the United States that will be hit by Russian nuclear bombs. What is called the SS Satan or SS-18 Satan, something like that. Yeah, we might see it in here. Yeah, I think it's in one of these articles. Yeah, we're gonna see. Oh, yep, there it is. Also known as, so it's the R-36M2, also known as the SS-18 Satan. Yes, I said it right the first time, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to read from the video that I seen. He showed the cities, and then the initial blast radius, and then the second ring. So there was 1, 2, 3 rings, basically, where he was, or 4, because the little dot in the middle, I guess he counted that as a ring. And then the gray ring around that, and another ring and another ring. Oh man, I should have put this, maybe I'll leave the video in the description box, so if you want to watch it, you can see, which cities, how far out that radius, because I'm probably not going to say all that in here. But anyway, what I am going to tell is what's in these articles. I'm not going to have his dialogue, so that's going to be a little bit different. So the first thing I'm going to read is that Newsweek magazine posted an article on November 27th, 2024. That was after Donald Trump got elected, but before he got into office. So therefore, the Biden administration was still in office when this was written, before Donald Trump started this war. Nuclear bomb, because don't Iran got friends? They're not just like, being bullied, and they ain't got no family and friends. Okay. Smell something burning. Nuclear bomb map shows impact of Russian weapons on major U.S. cities. Okay, so nuclear bomb map shows, so this is what was in the guy's video, and he just showed each one of the maps, how far it's going to go out, if you'll be safe if you stay where you are, what cities are safer. That's what his video was about. It says, as global tensions escalate amid threats of nuclear war from Russia's President Vladimir Putin, Newsweek has looked at the impact of a Russian nuclear weapon on various U.S. cities and their surroundings. So, I don't know if you're old enough to know anything about the Cold War, but I am. And I grew up my whole little tiny life all the way through teenage years being afraid of a war with Russia. That never happened. Not saying that it ain't going to happen now. I'm saying back then it's been a lifelong fear. It's been a lifelong thing that everything has been propaganda, the news, everything has been pushing on everybody. Oh, Russia, oh, Russia, oh, Russia. Oh, my God, the big bad bear. Well, I'm not saying that there are no sissies. I'm just saying we've been being threatened with that for quite some time. And then what? Now it's here. Because I got the impression from the Spirit of God that this was going to happen with Russia, China, and their allies. Now, back 12 years ago, this wasn't even an idea. It wasn't an idea. This happened, I don't know when they started the whole money situation, but a lot of this happened under Obama. But anyway, it's because it's prophesied that certain things got to happen in America. And so, it's got to happen some kind of way. Yeah. Humans going to start doing what they normally do, which is lie, cheat, steal, and deceive. And, you know, here we are. But anyway, let me get to reading. Excuse me. Sorry. As global tensions escalate amid threats of nuclear war from Russia's President Vladimir Putin, Newsweek has looked at the impact of a Russian nuclear weapon on various U.S. cities and their surroundings. In September, Putin lowered the threshold of nuclear weapons use by saying Russia would consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state borders. Okay, but who gonna let somebody just come up in their house? Just debo their way in and not do nothing. Well, they're gonna try to do something, try to keep you out something. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery missiles or vehicles, Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy is using conventional weapons, it possesses a critical threat. So we basically saying we should be able to use whatever we want. You attacking us, it doesn't matter you using a bat and I got a gun. Okay, so it said Newsweek used maps produced by Alex Willerstein, a professor and historian of nuclear technology, to assess what the impact would be if Moscow attacked with this R-36M2, also known as SS-18 Satan, one of the largest and most powerful heavy intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, ever built. Ever built? That means we ain't got one? Okay. All right, on to the next article. Nuclear apocalypse map. Now this one is also from 6 months ago. These next two, this one and the next one, are from the video. And then I'm going to read the current stuff. This is from August 2024. It says a new study has looked at the best and worst places to live in the U.S. during an apocalyptic event. Okay. Jesus is not coming. And the results may surprise you. Vermont comes in top, with Hawaii in last. Why Vermont was the top is because, I don't know why they said Vermont was the top, but I know why they said Hawaii was the last. Why the guy in the video said Hawaii was the last. Because it's one of the most inaccessible places to get to. And so a lot of their supplies come from mainland U.S. Ain't nobody finna be making no deliveries if they're getting attacked. It said, a new study has revealed the safest and most dangerous states to live in during a nuclear apocalypse, using key survival indicators. Now, this has been 6-7 months ago. I ain't heard nothing about this. My husband watches the news every single day, unless he just happens to miss it. And then attached to that news is world news, which comes on at 6 o'clock every single day. He hasn't said, no, I haven't heard anything either. He would have told me about that. That there's a map out showing what major cities Russia could hit with this gigantic Satan weapon. Whatever it's called. Sorry. But it is called Satan. But that's just the end of it. Okay. The topic of nuclear attacks is increasingly on people's mind due to the popularity of the Fallout series. Really? Anyway, due to the popularity of the Fallout series, although I was thinking about Fallout and Archie. Is it Archie? The guy with the thumb up and the blonde hair and the blue clothes. Anyway, his picture was on the wall in Fallout. What is it called? Anyway, and so I was like, what does it got to do with Fallout? But I think the lady that was in one was in the other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The topic of nuclear attack is increasingly on people's mind due to the popularity of the Fallout series and current global conflicts involving nuclear powers like Russia. So, what we're doing is we're threatening everybody with, oh my God, Russia, 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 but then poking it. Come on, man, do something. You ain't gonna do nothing? We done poked you 5 or 6 times. You don't feel that? That's just my personal opinion, which could be absolutely incorrect. It says, according to NoDepositDaily.com, Vermont would be the safest state in the event of a nuclear attack. So now everybody gonna flood to Vermont? Everybody can't fit in Vermont. Followed by Maine, Louisiana. Okay, because there's no major bomb going to those areas. Maine, Louisiana, Wyoming, New Hampshire. That's it? Excuse me, that can't be it. Vermont, Maine, Louisiana, Wyoming, New Hampshire. Better get there. The study used 18 key indicators grouped into categories such as weapons and security, supplies and survival resources, population density, medical services, gas, vehicle supplies, climate, access to fresh water, access to food. Now, I sure hope you don't depend on the government to supply you food if we go to war. I mean, it wasn't even war. It was a Great Depression and people had to fend for themselves. Learn how to grow some, maybe. Or, anyway, you can't say anything you want to on YouTube. Each state was scored out of 100 based on these factors. At the other end of the scale, Hawaii, Nevada, California, Arizona, and New York were identified as the most dangerous states to live in during a nuclear apocalypse. Why? Because they have the maps have the bombs going to California, not Hawaii. Hawaii is just isolated. California, which is surrounded by Nevada and Arizona, and New York were identified as the most dangerous. So also, there's supposed to be one going to Chicago. So I think it's 3, 4, 5 of them going to Texas. They want to make sure they get Texas. And then California, New York, Chicago. I think that was it. But let's see. The map identifies areas of the U.S. most likely to be targeted in a nuclear war. Terrifying interactive nuclear bomb map shows horrendous damage inflicted upon New York by B-83. This beam map data utilized to create a map calculating relevant facilities in each state. I don't want to read no more of this. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so basically this one was to say that Vermont is the most safe and Hawaii is the worst protected, or it's not, there's no nuclear bomb going there. They're basically saying once the nuclear bombs fall, nobody's going there to bring them anything. So learn how to take care of yourself, learn how to find some water, catch it, I don't know. I mean, whatever people do in other regions. We can dig wells here, but probably won't be doing that during no nuclear fallout. It's time to pray. Okay, so this last one, the last one from the video. Because see, this is information from 7 months ago, about a nuclear war before we were even at official war with Iran. And now Russia and other countries are saying, oh, we'll give Iran some nuclear weapons. They ain't even got to dig their own uranium and create their own. Let me mind my business because I might not know what I'm talking about. Okay, it says FEMA, nuclear guide, prevent radiation exposure. Well, now how old is this one? Now I tell you, my husband watches the news every single day, sometimes twice. Because the news come on early in the morning before you go to work, and then it comes on at noon for those people that are at home. Then it comes on again at 5 and 6 o'clock. Then it comes on again at 10 o'clock. That's like 4 times a day. With 2 of them being world news. The one in the morning and the one at 6 o'clock. Not heard none of this. FEMA, nuclear guide. This is Newsmax. Prevent radiation exposure. That's what it says. To prevent radiation exposure. So it says with Russian President Vladimir Putin, threatening the use of nuclear weapons in his country's war against Ukraine. So he right next door, and he gonna send a nuclear weapon over to Ukraine. Ukraine is in Russia, so right there, that means he gonna get some Russian people just to take out little old Ukraine. No, I just seen I interviewed a lot of people. It was people from many countries. I think they were journalists and just different people. He allowed a meeting with them to ask them about what happened not necessarily what happened in Gaza, but that too, but also about Israel attacking Iran. We have decided we're getting ready to attack them because we know that they're making a nuclear weapon. So that's our right. I mean, Israel is like that big. See that little strip right there on that pen? And then this is Iran. How you going to pick on somebody that big with that much power? Then we didn't get forced. They could have been in on it. I don't know. I heard somebody saying Israel forced America. Are we sure? It says, and with the Middle East conflict involving terrorist groups. Really? Who's a terrorist? Was that Bob Marley? Trying to say who the real terrorist was. The U.S. and its European allies are informing citizens how to respond should a nuclear attack occur. Send something out in everybody's mailbox. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has compiled a 258-page planning guidance for response to a nuclear detonation. 258 pages. That begins, if a nuclear detonation occurs in an American city, it would be one of the most catastrophic events of the United States. That's the way it starts, in a very frightening way. In the latest advice to be prepared for a nuclear explosion, FEMA says a nuclear explosion may occur with a few minutes warning or without warning. Like, we're not going to get no sirens. Something. I don't know. A whistle, some birds. Okay. Yeah, we know they can cause significant damage because we bombed a whole bunch of little old countries, testing it out. How do you test out a bomb on actual people? It's only fitting if it came from us, right? I mean, I'm not asking for anything, because what is going to be. There is nothing I can do about it. I can say whatever I want, and whatever the Lord says is going to happen, still going to happen. Or whatever He says is not going to happen, it's not going to happen. So, they told us to prepare back in August of 2024. They just didn't really tell us. They put it out on the news. If you newspapers, because it wasn't on our news. If you didn't find it, that's just, I mean, hey, it ain't their fault. We didn't see it. And they're always talking about the fallout. Like, all of the websites that I've read and the videos that I've seen about this information coming out, a few months back. The fallout. Now, that other article started with, because of the popularity of fallout. I mean, I didn't know it was that popular. By the time I heard about it, it was old. And then it wasn't all like that great. It took me a while to finish that little one season. Excuse me. It says fallout is most dangerous in the first few hours after the detonation, when it is giving off the highest level of radiation. The preparation document says it takes time. Wait a minute. I guess fallout would be kind of interesting, because they were still being told, no, you can't go out, it's radiation. And people were just living life out there. Anyway. The preparation document says it takes time for fallout to arrive back to ground level. Often more than 15 minutes for areas outside of the immediate damage zone. That is enough time for you to be able to prevent significant radiation exposure. Okay. I'm sure you can get the 258-page document and read all of it, if that is what you so desire. Okay, it says people should stay informed through available media channels. Like I said, I need some water. Oh, I just got one. Hold a second. It's too far away. It says available media channels, which is essential to keep abreast of the situation and safety announcements. I'd like to know if this was widely spread, because I didn't hear about it. Hawaii, Nevada, California, Arizona, and New York were identified as the most dangerous states, okay, to live in near a nuclear fallout, apocalypse, whatever. According to No Deposit Daily, this is the same as from the other article. I remember No Deposit Daily. Okay, so basically, if Putin and Russia's adversaries became involved in a nuclear war, there are certain countries that potentially could offer sanctuary, according to the Express. They include, are you ready? Antarctica, Iceland, I don't know what it feels like in New Zealand, Switzerland, Greenland, Indonesia, Argentina, I never heard of this, Tuvalu, and Bhutan, Chile, and South Africa. Antarctica, Iceland, where the volcanoes keep erupting and erupting and erupting. New Zealand, Isn't Switzerland in Europe? Why would that be safe? Okay, Greenland, Indonesia. Man, that, you know, I heard the guy in the video was saying, you know, south, just go south. That's pretty south. That's way down there. Who gonna make it down there? Anyway, if you're not flying or driving, I don't know. You better go early. Okay. And that is it for that one. Now, what is happening right now is that our very interesting president, I mean, I watched a movie called Idiocracy. I think that was the name of it. Where the president was like I don't even know. If you want to laugh, no, it might make you cry now because it's partly true, some of it. Okay, so this right here says, State Department issues worldwide caution, security alert. This is from MSN. On Sunday evening, the State Department issued a worldwide caution security alert, almost 24 hours on from attacks on Iran. It was 24 hours before. Yes. Before attacks on attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. In a release on its website, the State Department said the conflict between Israel and Iran has resulted in disruptions to travel and periodic closure of airspace across the Middle East. There is a potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens. What did we do? It is very evident that we cannot tell our politicians nor our president what to do. Neither can the people of Iran. Neither can the people in Israel. There is potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens and interests abroad. Embassies. This is where all the protests are happening right now at the U.S. embassies in other countries. The Department of State advises U.S. citizens worldwide to exercise increased caution. Please read carefully our travel advisory, country information, and any recent security alerts when planning travel. So they got a website for you to go to, statetravel.gov, content travel, you know. Put it in the Google search, it'll come up. It says, U.S. strikes obliterate Iran's nuclear ambitions. Okay, so that's what they keep saying. So I never believe nothing they say, so they must have missed. It says Iran has a long-standing commitment to target U.S. government. Iran has a long-standing commitment to target U.S. government officials it views as responsible for the death of an Iranian military commander killed in January 2020. The likelihood of violent extremists in the homeland independently mobilizing to violence in response to the conflict would likely increase if Iranian leadership issues a religious ruling calling for retaliatory violence against targets. So, we got United States citizens over there in Iran. I don't know how this thing works. You could just go bomb somebody's country, your people over there, and then say to them, I know I just punched you in the face, but you bet not do nothing. Now, let's be friends. That's my funny version of it. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, because this requires tears. We don't know where this is gonna go. The whole world is in turmoil. Iran's not alone. He's got friends. He's got allies. They have interests in that country. Yeah. They're making money. They got business deals. They're friends. They're, you know, and those same people that are friends with them are not friends with us. Okay. It says Iran's UN ambassador Amir, whatever his last name is, forgive me, told an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council that the U.S. decided to destroy diplomacy, and that the Iranian military will decide the timing, nature, and scale of the country's proportionate response. So, apparently one of the, I don't know which one, the news dude with the totally white hair. What's his name? Look, I was going to say his mother's name, but that would not help you know who he is. Okay, so how would the world react to America's strike on Iran? They're popping up ads in my face, sorry. How the world reacted to America's strike on Iran. Catastrophic consequences. So we have, it said the U.S. strike on nuclear sites have ignited fears of a wider conflict in the Middle East. This is not the one I want to read next. Let me go down here. So, Trump told Iran to make peace after bombing 3 of its nuclear sites. So, like I said, when I came to your house, I'm going to tear down half of it. And then I'm going to stick my hand out and say, now let's be friends. You better not respond. But is this, are those his children? I mean, Trump went on national television Saturday night and demanded that Iran make peace, just 2 hours after the U.S. military bombed 3 major Iranian nuclear sites. Speaking from the White House, Trump says any further strikes would be far greater and a lot easier if Iran retaliates. He gave no details about what kind of peace he expects or what Tehran would need to do, but the threat was clear: stop now or get hit harder. Trump told Iran to make peace after bombing 3 of its nuclear sites. He said, now let's have peace. That's not how you get peace from people. But anyway, the peace giver is not here. The only one who brings peace, not here. They've been saying, let there be peace in the Middle East ever since they went and took over in the Middle East. What's that been? About 80 years? Ain't been not now and drop of peace. I feel sad for the people that's got to live over there. They ain't got no say. Just pawns. Russia warns of nuclear arming for Iran after U.S. strike. Iran's got friends. What do you say? Who knew? And when Vladimir Putin was talking in this little meeting, you know, they asked they asked questions that no president will answer faithfully in no public setting like that. So, do you plan on attacking NATO? Do you plan on giving Iran nuclear weapons so that he can fight? He's going to tell you whatever he wants you to hear. Just like Donald Trump just did the other day. He said those bombs are going to Guam to sit and wait to see what we're going to do with them. They went straight to Iran. They're not going to tell us. So, he said that he have interest in Iran, but you know, his agreement with Iran is not to help with military things. But now, yeah, we're going to help Iran out. Because they got to protect their interests like America be saying she's doing. But anyway, it says this was called Operation Midnight Hammer. In the aftermath of Operation Midnight Hammer, the U.S. military audacious strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities has plunged the international community into a state of alarm. While U.S. officials maintained the goal was to dismantle Iran's nuclear ambitions and avoid war, those people were sitting over there not bothering nobody, not making war with nobody. And they got bombed by Israel and continue to be bombed by Israel. Until America came and helped after Iran fought back. Like they're just supposed to sit there and let you just send bombs into their country and just sit here and say, okay, I just want peace. I want to make peace. It says, President Donald Trump announced a successful bombing of these 3 nuclear plants in Iran. Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. It says, while U.S. officials maintained the goal was to dismantle Iran's nuclear ambitions and avoid war, a stark warning from former Russian Prime Minister Dmitry, whatever his last name is, has intensified fears of a dangerous escalation. A number of countries are now prepared to arm Iran with nuclear warheads. I know I'll be making funny faces. Sorry. But I am just saying, the Lord impressed this up on me 2013 or 14. I want to say it was 13. That was about 12 years ago. I haven't forgot about it, but I couldn't see it back then. I'm like, oh, they're friends? I mean, I wasn't all into this other people's country's politics. I'm not now, but you can't not know about it and look at history and try to see what is happening currently, and So now Russia and China are buddies, along with, let me see, is this the article that says it right here? Russia warns of nuclear arming of Iran after U.S. strikes. No, that's the one I just read. It's right here. There's a Pakistan, I want to say. It's another country that's in there with Russia and China. It says, demonstrations in cities around the world have taken to the streets to protest against President Donald Trump's decision to launch a strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. Nah. Let me go back. Let me go back to the Russia thing real quick. See if I missed something on this hit page. Nope. Check that one. It was a Middle Eastern place. I want to say it said Pakistan. Let me look right here. True solo unconditional surrender. Nope, this ain't it. Okay, but I know it's Russia and China in the bunch. I keep looking at the laptop thinking this is where I'm recording from, and then have to raise my eyes up there. So I'm looking kind of crazy, like I'm looking down here, because I keep forgetting that the camera's up there. All right. Okay, so Russia warns of not just themselves, because the whole international community wanted Israel to be stopped, and nobody, well, I think it was up to the United States. I don't know why. Why couldn't everybody else get together and just go boom, boom, put the hammer down? I don't know, but we go from being warned about a nuclear war, so-called warned, because where's all the hoopla? Like we got beat over the head with it in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And then they moved from that to the, what they call it, peace in the Middle East, to the war in the Middle East, continuous war that never ends. Like this is the song that never ends. Okay. World reacts to U.S. strikes on Iran with alarm, caution, and some praise. We're going to skip the praise part, because that's bringing the war to America. We don't know what's going on here. I know that America hasn't been going up in morality. And one of the things that the Bible always mentions when a kingdom is going down is how they treated the poor and the helpless and the widows and the children. I don't think America got high scores in those areas. Okay, it said that as the world reacts to news of U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, international officials largely responded with alarms and calls for restraint, though some expressed praise. Across the Middle East, reactions range from concern to condemnation. The Saudi government said it was following events with great concern and called for urgent diplomacy. Now, what I'm going to say is I read all of these. Iraq, Qatar, Iran, Palestinian militants. Everybody said this. It's a call for diplomacy, but you still ain't doing nothing. So this is weird to me. Not just weird. It's a little. How we gonna get upset about the North Korean people? You know, when somebody just happened to get a camera in over there, and everybody says the same thing. Oh, our master commander, whatever they call whatever they call their president, he is the greatest. He's the greatest. That's what our news do. Iran is a horrible country with nuclear weapons. We can't allow them to have nuclear weapons, and everybody say exactly the same thing. So everybody here is saying we're going to call for diplomacy. Diplomacy. International peace and security. What else? It says call for action and bold decision from the United States and Israel for all of humanity. Peace and safety at last, please. A quick response and caution. Take a cautious approach. Diplomacy. End the conflict. Y'all been saying that to Israel since. Anyway, just saying. I think the time is up for getting it right. You better get yourself right, because America's in trouble. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Look, I put that smile on like I wasn't just talking about something serious. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.